Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. I am Chris Burdick. That is Sparky back in his chair. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for.
Man, it was tough to wake up this
I
morning.
don't blame you, my friend.
We'll get into, it is waiver Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll get into that. We'll get into LeBron. LeBron is back. We'll get into the Laker game last night. I've got some more info on the CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens benching of the first drive.
Were we right?
Yeah. More news came out this morning. We'll get into that. We've got Chris Orr from the Bakersfield Lacrosse coming in at 8, plus Bakersfield Comic Con is joining us at 8:30. They've got some big news, going into their event, I believe. Is this weekend?
I believe it is this weekend, yes. That's why I'm disappointed because I won't be able to be there.
I am going to try, and I believe we get our radio check tomorrow, so maybe it's already spent now that Comic-Con is coming.
I'm just saying.
But we'll get into that and much, much more. You can call or text in anytime at 661-842-2000.
And the story, the day, and I get into, Sparky got a speeding ticket and dropped that on us yesterday. Didn't even tell us what happened.
Yeah, I told my wife too, and that was the toughest spot because we hadn't even made it to Vegas yet.
Really? Where did you go? Okay, so where did this happen?
So I'm just gonna tell you, I drive a Toyota Tacoma.
Okay.
And it is an older one, and
this is true.
Does not hit 80 miles per hour, and if it is speeding.
Well, if you hit 80 miles an hour in that thing, you're going back in time with the dock.
Exactly. And my wife let us use her Audi. And I will say, if you never drove an Audi, it feels like you're driving 45 when you're going 90.
Yeah, that don't surprise me.
And it was I was trying to beat the storm, and we got to around right past Tehachapi, Mojave area, and there was some big rigs in the fast lane, so I was trying to get by.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea I was going 90 in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And the Audi will go ding when you're speeding, and I never heard it. But, JR was in the car with me, and we're just talking, and we're trying to get to
where we need to,
and he was, doing the Miles Museo weather checking and telling me, we've got 15 minutes before this storm comes, and blah, 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 blah. And I see brake lights on the middle of the road on the right side of the road, and I'm like, there it is.
Damn.
And he said, he's not going to get you.
He's coming. If he hit the brake lights, he's coming. Trust me.
He turned his lights on. He was hidden in the middle of the desert right there. And a couple friends told me they usually hang out in that Tehachapi, Mojave area. And he pulled over and he just said, hey, you know how fast you were going?
For those people who are listening to us that aren't local, Tehachapi and Mojave area, very much just, it's a 2-lane highway. And like Sparky just said, for some reason, don't know why, but every big rig gets real ballsy in that area and decides, we're going to get in the fast lane. Why?
Yeah.
You guys are going 20 miles an hour lower than everybody else. Stay in the right lane. I get you guys got to get to your places and deliver, but come on, brother. You're just causing issues for everybody else.
We got 1 hour of the 4-hour trip, and I'm like, dude, I have to tell my wife.
Yeah.
And I waited until we got to the bingo table and had a drink, and I was like, okay.
She tells you, hey, babe, how'd it go? How'd the drive? Everything went fine. And you hang up the phone. Oh, by the way, I got a speeding ticket. Bye.
I love you. Bye. But yeah, we'll deal with that battle. I don't have the money to pay it, and
she does though. I know
that helped because it really restricted what I was going to gamble this weekend. So I didn't gamble.
That's absolutely fair, and that's probably the best idea for you too, especially with everything going on in the world of gambling.
And I will say, with Vegas, there's so many steps. Like my Dolphins were playing at 6:30 in the morning, so I planned on getting in bed early, which was 1:32. And got down to the casino, and I was like, I'm gonna place a bet on the Dolphin game. If I gamble, it's usually sports betting,
right?
And it's like you have to get a membership card, and then you have to register the card at a table before you can make the sports bet. And I'm like, dude, it is 6:15.
You have to fully register it too.
Well, you have to get a membership card at the casino, whether it's Caesar's Palace Rewards or whatever. And then once you get it, you can't just take it to the sports betting. You have to take it to a poker table or a slot machine to put $1 in it to have any money on the card, just like a bank card. And I'm like, dude, it's pushing 6:30 already. And it wasn't really a good payout. It was like
Right.
3.5 points to get $40. I'm like, dude, so I'm gonna have to put 100 in to win 140. Like, nah, it's not worth it. I'll buy breakfast.
That's a little ridiculous.
But then I was looking at the parlays, and a couple buddies of mine that were down there saying, dude, the only way you're gonna make money on football is making the parlay bets. And I was looking down the overs and unders, and the games that were actually paying out was the Carolina game, Carolina and Atlanta, and the other game was the Giants, which I'm like, I don't feel safe enough to put any money on either one of those games. And so I didn't. So we had breakfast instead.
Unlike you, my friend, I will be going to Vegas this weekend, and I will be
busy weekend.
Bolt Brady and Brandon Lang to be giving me a handful of picks, because that's the only gambling I will be doing. Will be sports gambling, if I do any at all, because I like you normally don't. You may see me on a slot machine for a little bit, but that's only for the free drinks.
Yeah,
that's solely when I learned that at a young age. If you sit down at any slot machine, casino table, whatever, and they just bring you drinks for free, all you have to do, tip them, obviously. Give her a $20 bill. She comes back every so often. But my God, like, that is the biggest cheat code in Vegas, in my opinion.
And one of the things in Vegas, like when I was growing up at the 25 years old, going down to Vegas, the best part was the food.
Yes.
The buffets, you can go play at a table, and then you can get, all you can eat steak for $20.
Right.
That is not how it is anymore.
They got rid of that. Well, I think some places still do, don't they? Like Golden Nugget and all those, like the older places.
Maybe the older areas.
Did you guys get down to Fremont at all? No, I didn't think so.
The one place we did get out of the strip was to go to the pinball.
Oh, that's museum, right. We were supposed to get a video of you and Hopper doing the life-size pinball.
I don't think you wanted to see that, because Hop was on it.
That would have been very comical.
I did get to play some Kiss pinball, but no,
nice.
half of the machines are old,
right? So
you didn't get to play a lot of them, but we had fun with it. But I will say the food was more expensive than I was expecting. But we did. JR, our buddy JR, that is the program director at ESPN. He has family in Henderson. So the first night when we got up there, speaking of, we didn't have to spend money on the Saturday night hotel. Went down to Henderson, and she lives right down the street from the casino in Henderson. So for like $30, we got to play bingo for an hour.
Right.
Which, of course, she won.
Underrated game.
But it was probably the funnest we've had in that whole weekend, besides, the game.
For those of, if anybody can break this down to me, I was just talking to KG about this as well, because like JR brings up the bingo and all that type of stuff. I don't usually play that in Vegas, but if anybody can teach me how to play craps, I've watched the table a million times over. It always looks like so much fun, but I've also seen my buddy lose thousands upon thousands of dollars on those tables, and I'm very skeptical, but I also have no idea how this game works. So I'm like, if anybody wants to explain that to me, maybe I could figure out a new love for craps over the weekend. I have no idea.
JR found some table that he liked, and he was playing. I don't think he won anything,
probably,
but he still at the end of the night didn't know what he was playing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like all I know is like 7s are bad. 11, I guess, is good. I don't know the rules. So if anybody can call in or text in and explain that to us here in the first hour, we'd love to hear from you. 661-842-2000. Or you can chime in the comment section down below in YouTube or Twitch, whichever one you're on. We will see it. We'll comment on it here in the first hour. Let's get into some sports news.
Well, speaking of Vegas, before we get out of there.
Okay, what we got?
So report came out this morning that CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were both spotted gambling through the night in Vegas.
What did I say?
And they were gambling until 7 a.m. on game day, just hours before the Monday Night Football practice. And coach said, you guys going to have to sit out the first drive. Luckily, they both showed up and had great time in Vegas, because they both, what do they have, like 100+ yards each? I know Pickens had 140, 150 yards. But yeah, they partied up in Vegas.
Look, we called it. We said that yesterday. I'm surprised more players don't get in trouble for this more often, to be honest with you, because it is Vegas. And just like all of you at home who are listening to us, we all love Vegas for the same reason. It's because it's a party city. It's a travel city. And obviously you can go gamble every bit of money that you earned away. And I'm not shocked. I'm really not. And that's not a character flaw. That's not me attacking CD or George. I'm honestly surprised more NFL players don't get in trouble for this. I really am. That was the first thing we brought up when Vegas was moving from Oakland to Vegas was you're going to have players have this pop up as an issue. But obviously, Schottenheimer is not going to have his top 2 pass catchers not play for more than just a drive. So, yeah, punish them, slap on the wrist. You don't get to do the first 15, but you come in afterwards. Who cares? Like, ultimately, who cares? They're not going and gambling on sports gambling. They're on a table. They're playing poker just like any other Joe Blow. I don't see a problem.
I think it was more of the issue that they showed up all tired and
7:00 in the morning the day of.
stayed
Yeah,
up all
that's
night.
crazy. Now go to bed at 3, bud. Like, get off the table for a while. But
they were like the Dolphin games on. We got to get to bed.
Just missing curfew, obviously. And we said this yesterday. I am all for these coaches stepping up and putting some teeth into these punishments. We talked about it with Abdul Carter falling asleep before walkthroughs. Now he's adamantly saying that's a lie. I don't see why a coach would not put you in the game because he claims he was getting worked on in PT. He was getting like the injuries worked out of him, and that's why he missed. But then he says that is still on me. I'm like, I don't know a lot of coaches that know you're with the trainer and you can't do walkthroughs. So that's why he benched you for the first half. No, I think it's much more likely that you fell asleep in the locker room, like everybody's saying, probably getting trained on, or the trainer worked on you and then didn't wake up until after walkthroughs. I think that's genuinely what happened. But again, I don't know. I'm not in the room. But these coaches coming through having these, punishments for at least for the first drive. Obviously, Jamar Chase has to sit out the whole game for what he did, but
or didn't do.
Lies. That's what made me laugh because when he came out and said, I didn't do that,
Like,
I was
well,
like,
there's cameras everywhere, right?
Yeah. But then again, it's like we said too, what else is he supposed to say? Is he supposed to just go to the media and say, yeah, I spit on him? What are you guys going to do about it? Then the NFL's going to be like, oh, really? Now we're slapping a 3-4 game suspension on you because clearly you don't care. But him going out and saying I didn't do it or denying it at least, he's going to try to appeal it as well.
He lost already.
Yeah, he's not going to win that in any way, shape, or form. There is clear evidence of probably one of the biggest loogies I've seen hawked in quite some time.
It wasn't just a regular spit either.
No, that was some Sergeant Slaughter, like that was just some.
Oh, dude,
ridiculous.
If we have time later, I need a Monday Night Raw recap because my Netflix did not work last night.
Really? Oh, I'll give it to you. You'll trust me. You'll get the full shtick because we didn't even get into a lot of the stuff that happened yesterday.
It was the final scene of Raw, and I was like, "Come on, Netflix!"
I know. We didn't get into Becky losing her belt because of AJ Lee. We didn't get into the War Games build up for the women's side. Yeah, she showed up, and that's what Becky is going to be going forward and saying that's why she lost to Maxine. Personally, I think this was probably the best wrestling match we've ever seen from Maxine Dupree. And I sat there and I looked at KG and said, this is the first time I am looking at her. And I said, that is a wrestler.
Nice.
That is no longer a cheerleader for the Rams. That is a wrestler.
I'm usually like, why is she in the ring?
Right. No, but now trust me, she's put in the work. Like if you get a chance to go watch it sometime this week, highly recommend you watch that match just solely for what it was.
I got all pumped. Really I got all my work done. I got in bed by 8 o'clock. I was like, cool, I'm putting on Raw. And it got to the point where Becky put her picture over CM Punk and it just shut down.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
That's rough, man.
But you guys can call or text in anytime, 661-842-2000. We'll take our first break and get this show rolling right here on the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield, 1230 a.m.
101.1 FM. Oh, good morning. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Sparky is back from his journey to Las Vegas to cover the Raiders on Monday against the Cowboys, and we talked plenty about that yesterday, but we are very disappointed with the trajectory of the Raiders at the moment. It is what it is, though. We kind of saw it coming with the Pete Carroll type situation. At least myself and Sparky were both very, what would you say, Spark? Skeptical?
Yeah.
That this Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll thing was going to work out. But then again, most moves made by Mark Davis, I am skeptical.
You think it's over?
Yeah.
One and done?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah. I mean, again, you brought him in because he is he has history of winning. He's won Super Bowl and he's thrown away a Super Bowl.
I was going to say, he also has that history.
Pete Carroll, at least, is one of the most beloved football coaches in the NFL. And I think that's rightfully so, just because he is who he is. And he's a very likable person. He's a very, player first and player friendly coach. And I mean, you hear all of his former players, if not players around the league who never played for him, all speak his praises. Chip Kelly is a great offensive mind, but I can't necessarily say that he is really the guy for the offense that's really going to lead them further than they need to be. And right now, the offensive line is so bad, it's making everybody look worse. It really is. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying Geno is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback in any way, but he's still a competent quarterback. And Ashton Genty is a fantastic running back that gets zero help from the offensive line. We knew this, 6 weeks through the season when the stats were showing that he had over 100% of his yards were after contact. So what is the problem for the Raiders? 100%. It's the offensive line. I don't care what Jason Horowitz came on and said on this show.
Yeah. And the D-line, I think.
And you know what's funny? I've heard more people on the McAfee show, on on First Take, on all of these ESPN shows that are now echoing the exact same thing as me. True, Geno's not the best, but he's not the problem. This offensive line is abysmal. It's terrible in every way. It can't run block, can't pass block, and it is what it is. So, yeah, I think that the time is done for Pete. I don't think he's going to be – if he does make it past this year – I'd say maybe he gets 4 or 5 games in next year. If this continues, he's gone. There's no way they continue with him.
I would start now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Geno's got a 2 or 3 year deal, and I think they set him up. I mean, it's not all on Geno. And even talking to, Raider announcers over there, they even say, it looked way different when we had a defensive tackle that was taken up. But now Max is getting triple covered and no one else is stepping in.
No. And the defensive side of the ball has its issues. I think you really struggle from having one guy syndrome. It really is just Max Crosby that makes all of these plays for you. Other guys contribute in certain ways, but you really don't have that superstar that really helps outside of Max Crosby on the defensive side of the ball. There are many issues with the Raiders. We can go down the line and really talk about it if we wanted to, but we'd be here all day.
We got Daily Dave, who has a comment on, the first game and the last game this week in football, he says. So what's up, Dave?
Mr. Dave.
Good morning, guys. Glad you made it up and back safely. Great synopsis of the travel and what you guys did. First game, Miami, I cannot believe they did not kick the field goal. They've been stopped 4 times on the goal line, and they go for it at the end of the game. Kick the field goal, go up by 3, and then see if your defense can hold. I was screaming at the television.
No.
Did you see that play?
No, I did. I watched the whole game. I've never missed a Dolphin game in 40 years, and I will say don't kick it. This is a Dolphin football game. I was telling people in the beginning of the game this was going to happen, or it was going to win or lose at the last 2 minutes of the game. And I would say relying on the defense in the last 2 minutes, we've seen this for years.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are we playing for? We're playing to win. So I was all about going for it. I didn't want to see the kick, and he already missed a field goal earlier in the game. So I know it was just an extra point kick, but I liked it.
honestly, I think that it shows confidence too in McDaniel to get it done on his own merit rather than lean on the kicker to get it done. I agree, technically, and I don't mean to make this sound like a slight, but armchair quarterback now, obviously, we outside looking in, we all see it now that, yeah, you kick the field goal, you probably don't go into overtime. But at the same time, I kind of agree with Sparky. Why not? You were going against the Washington Commanders, who right now are beat up. I have all the confidence in the world that my offense can get it done. It just didn't happen this week. So I don't blame him necessarily for that. But I mean, again, hindsight, obviously, 2020.
Congratulations on the win. The last play of the game, or nearly last play of the game, the last Sunday night, again, the referees missed the call. Chris Collins was like going, when they called defensive pass interference.
Yep.
And so that, and even Collins was going, in my opinion, that looked more like offensive.
Yeah.
The push off.
And I'm screaming at the TV going, oh God, are you kidding me? It's not that they're going to win, but at least they would have a chance to get the ball back.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. And the game he's talking about, for people who don't understand, is the Philadelphia and Detroit game where A.J. Brown clearly got away with a pass interference call. And I agree with you 100%. It really shouldn't have been called at all. It was more hand checking to me. And it's just one of those plays that you just kind of have to let go. But I think at this point in this season, we can all kind of admit the refs have a new favorite. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. And
I was going to say, because they missed the earlier one.
They did.
When they actually called a pass interference when it was 10 feet above anybody. I was like, nobody could catch that.
No. And again, that's the tricky part of this entire thing. That's why personally, I genuinely believe we need to have an overturn situation in the NFL. I think that we need to start using the replays to keep the refs honest about what they're doing. I mean, we have it in almost every other sport. Baseball's getting theirs next year with the ABS. I think football's the next in line. We got to figure out some way that we can sit there and say, I'm going to challenge that flag you just threw right now, and we're going to go back and look at this.
That's a great point. Like, have a yellow flag in the last 2 minutes that you could throw on a crucial play that could determine the outcome. And it's not the red flag, but you pull out the yellow
Let's
flag.
make it a purple one.
Yeah, or I mean, if you really even want to. If you want to change the color, you can go for it. I say just expand the challenge rules. Keep it with the red flag. Just sit there and say you can now challenge pass interference calls, maybe even if it's just within the last 2 minutes of the game. You know what I mean? Like something simple like that. But I genuinely agree with you. I think that was a really ticky-tack thing. And the Lions may not have won that game at the end of it all, but it definitely took the ball out of their hands in the last minute.
They probably would have, but I just want to see the chance of getting the opportunity. Right. But here's the great thing is I'm an early riser. I started watching football at 6 o'clock and I was done at 8. Now, I didn't watch it consecutively. I was in and out of the house. And,
naturally.
I saw the Buffalo Bill game, the end of that game.
That was a great game.
Allen 3-3. Just a lot of great games throughout the day, and really enjoyed it. And
11 weeks into the football season, I mean, who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl? Who's your Super Bowl picks this year?
Oh man, I really like Josh Allen. I hope the Bills can.
I don't think the Bills
break
have
the drought. I don't know if they can do it. Philly looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many great teams. That team, I want to call them the Baltimore Colts, but there's something else.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Indianapolis Colts. They look good. But I mean, even the Niners. They look good at times when McCaffrey's on. And their defense is good, even though they've got two of their main guys out from defense.
Purdy definitely looked good.
Purdy looks fine now. I think those injuries are long gone, but that's bad news for Mac Jones, to be honest with you. But
maybe he'll go to Vegas next year.
Yeah, maybe. They definitely need the quarterback help.
But we appreciate it, Dave. We gotta take our break and get to our waiver Wednesday. But we appreciate your call and calling anytime.
All right, guys. Good to hear you back. Have a good one.
Appreciate you, my friend. We got to take a break real quick. Like Sparky said, we'll give you our waiver wire picks of the week on the other side. Plus, there's a whole bunch to get into that we didn't yesterday. I have some audio from Kern Cross that I want to play that I'd love to hear Sparky's thoughts on as well. He's still stirring this pot on, is this a work or not? And to be honest with you, I'm starting to believe that this is probably just a long-term game from him and Triple H, but we'll talk about that when we get a chance. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. we separate.
The waiver wire Wednesday.
Absolutely. Welcome back to this early bird special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, as well as online on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Look at the early bird special. You can also find us on TikTok and Instagram as well. But it is time for the waiver wire Wednesday. Before we get to our guests the day, I have a handful here. I know Sparky's got his. Let's just go right down the line. I'm going to start with the quarterback position. This week, I got for you guys Jacoby Brissett, 17% rostered. Now, he had a historic game last week, so I'm not expecting the same kind of output. Don't get me wrong. 40-plus completions, likelihood of that happening again, very, very unlikely. However, if you look at his stats ever since he became the starter of this Arizona Cardinals team, he has averaged at least 20 to 30 points a game. That is great, great fantasy football play from this guy. Plus, he knows how to get everybody involved, including Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride. I like this matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's a smart quarterback, which is the worst case scenario for the Jacksonville defense, who thrives on getting turnovers.
I'm going with Jacoby as well. I mean, if you need a quarterback this week, I think Jacoby, especially playing against the beat-up Jacksonville Jaguars, which one week their defense looks good, and the last couple of weeks they've looked bad. So I'm going to go with Jacoby Brissett, and going over to the running back, which they are scarce.
Yeah, they
but
are.
With I mean, we're expecting the news to come out with Green Bay and the running back out. So I went with Emmanuel Wilson against the Vikings defense. I think with just the injuries and I mean, especially in Green Bay, I would expect him at least to get a couple catches out the backfield. I wouldn't expect a big, huge game against a tough Minnesota defense, but he's probably good for at least, 8 to 12 points.
I like that pick. I went a little bit of a different direction, but with a pass catching running back as well. I went Kenneth Gainwell. 54% rostered in most of your leagues, which means half of you have a chance to pick this guy up. They're going against number 17 ranked Chicago against running backs in Chicago. Okay. He had a fantastic game last week. He had 2 pass catching touchdowns. He's had 16 targets through passes in the last 3 weeks alone. He is not the running back one. They still have Jaylen Warren, who gets the majority of the rushes, but Kenneth is heavily, heavily involved in the offense. And with Aaron Rodgers' health situation still up in the air and Mason Rudolph being the backup coming in, I would expect him to have to dink and dump a lot. So I would expect a lot going to tight ends and running backs this week. So I expect Kenneth Gainwell to have at least a pretty solid week, maybe get you into the double-digit area. Moving over to wide receiver, I'm going with my boy Darrell Mooney. He has had nothing all season. I realize this, but hear me out. Michael Penix is out. Kirk Cousins is in. Last year, Kirk Cousins, Darrell Mooney were the most they had ridiculous connection. Let's just say that. And with Drake London out, Darrell's the only major wide receiver Atlanta has right now besides Kyle Pitts. They'll be going to New Orleans to take on the Saints and Tyler Shuck and a very, very weak secondary. I expect, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, I expect a good game from Kirk Cousins, which means Darrell Mooney is going to be catching a lot of passes. So I would go with Darrell Mooney this week.
I like that one. I was wondering if London was still out, so I stayed away from that one. I went with Michael Wilson from Arizona, not because he's a big shout out, big fantasy type guy, but I mean last week he had 18 targets and finished with 15 receptions with 185 yards, and I would expect, even if Jacksonville is up, which probably is going to be up, I would expect some garbage time with Jacoby and him. And I mean, 18 targets. Obviously, Jacoby knows where he's at all times. And then going into tight end, and I went with the tight end that Burdick has been telling you about for weeks. But I'm going with Juwan Johnson with the Saints. Tyler Shuck seems to be hitting his tight ends most of the time. And I mean, tight ends, it is a tough week with tight ends. I believe my tight end one is out with Gadsden on a bye, and Gadsden has really let me go the last couple of weeks. So I'm going with Juwan Johnson this week.
That's a solid pickup. I think that he's going to get a lot of targets with Tyler Shuck this week, especially since the Atlanta defense will be bearing down on a rookie quarterback all game long. I mean, you've heard me say it with tight ends. It's a very back and forth kind of a thing. Personally, if you've listened to me and you've gone with Jawan Johnson or Mason Taylor or any of these guys, I think they've done you pretty dang well. I got another one for you this week, though, and Harold Fannin from the Cleveland Browns, okay? 46% rostered. They're taking on the Raiders this week. The Raiders traditionally do well against tight ends, but that's because they leave a lot of wide receivers open, to be fair. However, I think if Shedeur Sanders is named the starter here, we're going to see a lot of targets go Fannin's way. And here's why. You heard us say it yesterday. The kids had very little to no reps, none with the number ones. Okay. That would mean he's got to do a lot of stuff by himself and ad lib. A lot of the time, the safety guy is the tight end. So I would expect a rookie quarterback, as I tell you guys a lot, to lean on his big boy, lean on his big target, and find that tight end quite a bit here in this next week against the Las Vegas Raiders to potentially get him going and get the confidence rolling before you finally start seeing some passes go to Jerry Jeudy. So I think Fannin is up for a big, big game this week.
And speaking with the Raiders, after we talked about them, we got a couple of texts from Raider fans. The one says the Raiders are trash.
Yep.
They've taken 44 years of my life, and they all need to go. And I'm gonna say they all need to go. Even Max, he is not Miles.
Ooh. Okay. Well, okay. Let's be fair. That is an absolutely fair statement. He's not Myles Garrett. I mean,
no one is.
No one's Myles Garrett. Not even TJ Watt is Myles Garrett. But to sit there and say that he's not helping your team, though, and I don't think that's what you're saying. I think you're more just saying, look, man, if we're gonna blow it up, blow it up. I feel for it. I mean, like if you do move on from Max Crosby, you need to trade him and get something for him. Because I've heard a lot of Raider fans just say, "Oh, just let him go when the contract's over." Why? You could easily get a first-round draft pick out of Max Crosby. Easily. Why would you not ship him to someone like Detroit, get their first rounder for next year, the year after, plus a couple second rounders on top of that? That's how you build a team.
I'll take him.
I think a lot of teams would. I'm pretty sure 30 out of the 32 would take him right now.
The next Raider fan says, I'd rather take Justin Fields in Vegas than Mac Jones.
What?
But knowing the Raiders, we'll probably just keep Geno.
I mean, that's absolutely fair. But you would rather have Justin Fields over Mac Jones? Have you not? I mean, hold on. Better question. Is there a bias here that we're unaware of? Are you a hater of the Niners? And if you are, that's fine. I'm not judging you or trying to make it feel bad, but if you did not watch Justin Fields this year compared to Mac Jones, yeah, I highly recommend you start watching some game tape because that's a wild take.
You could probably have him.
Yeah.
And the last one says, fantasy question, should I pick up Jerome Ford from Cleveland this week against the Raiders?
I don't like Jerome Ford. I have not been a fan of Jerome Ford, and I genuinely believe Judkins, I'm starting to call him Judkins now because of you, but Judkins is absolutely tearing it up for them. He's one of their most consistent threats on the field every single week. So I wouldn't, unless there's something that's lingering around Judkins that's maybe keeping him off the field this week. That
I haven't heard anything.
Same here. So that's why I'm like, unless you are absolutely running back needy and you absolutely have to have somebody, but I still think there are better players out there for you to take. Maybe a Tyler Algier. I guarantee you nobody in your fantasy football league has him unless they're a Falcons fan like me. And I mean, there's a handful of other running backs you can get. I mean, we just gave you two of them today. Kenneth Gainwell is available in about half of your leagues right now. And Sparky just gave you a fantastic one for Green Bay that most likely will be bearing the load if Josh Jacobs doesn't play this week, which it's starting to look like he won't. And also in injury news, if you didn't hear this already, CJ Stroud out Thursday
against Buffalo.
Huzzah. We get David Mills again. This Houston team is getting to be just as much of a headache.
So start Josh Allen?
Oh, yeah, 110%. Are you kidding? No, honestly, I think Josh is going to be in for a hell of a game on Thursday regardless, just because it's a short week and you're going against a defense that at least has been able to figure it out. But the offense has been so up and down. I feel sorry for any Texan fans, and I know there are a handful of them here in Bakersfield. I know most of you, and you are very, very devout fan base. I feel very bad for you right now.
We'll take our final break of the hour. We'll come back and we'll have our buddy Dan Betts over the phone. Maybe he's got some news about the Well Comedy Club. We'll find out right after this break. We are the Early Bird Special.
Oh, Eddie. New season's coming too. Very excited. Welcome back to the Early Bird Special. We are here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Do we have our guy Dan Betts on the phone?
We do.
As he is traveling past Pyramid Lake, as we understand. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Oh, I can't complain. You got some news for us, I understand?
Do I?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're
Do you?
the one
Well,
calling
where
in.
are you going?
Where are you headed? That's a better question.
I'm headed down to Santa Clarita for an appointment. That's boring. I wish I had a better answer for you guys.
I was like, I thought you were headed to somewhere to do a show or something. What's going on?
No, I'm going down to Santa Clarita to meet my drug dealer.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. See, that's the smart thing. Have your drug dealer be out of city so that way they can't pin it on you when they get caught, right?
Absolutely.
That's how
and
it
don't
works.
tell anybody I said this.
No one's gonna hear it. Trust me. No one listens. We're fine.
Just
We're fine.
just don't speed.
Yeah, there you go. Let's take a lesson from your friend here.
Tell you what, I was listening this morning because I'm up at this ungodly hour, and I thought I better call my buddies. But just so you know, I'm on the Grapevine. I'm not far from Pyramid Lake. So if I lose you, know that either I dropped the call or I crashed, and I died.
Well,
and if I do, I want you guys to come down and put some of those Jesus candles on the side of the road for me,
yes,
okay?
100%. We'll have a whole shrine there waiting for you.
Yeah, build something nice. Go to Home Depot.
Would you like a cross, or would we be putting a David star up? Like, what would you want there? I mean, you never know. It could always change up on you.
The great question. Yeah, we'll go. My mom would want me to say cross. We'll go cross.
Okay, we'll do the cross. We'll do the cross for mom. Let's go with that.
Well, before we get into anything else, how about them Chicago Bulls, baby?
How about the Chicago Bulls, and how about my Bears?
Chicago Bears, man.
Bears.
Number 1 in the NFC North. You got to be happy.
I'm pretty happy. And tell you what, just in case I lose you, I will share. We are targeting at the Well Comedy Club January 23rd for the grand opening with Hans Kim. Finally.
So Hans Kim is going to be the opening?
Hans Kim should be the opener. Yeah, we unfortunately that show got rescheduled 3 times. I've never had to reschedule a show more than once. I think we lost Donnell Rawlings to the Chappelle Show for the 50th anniversary with to SNL with Dave Chappelle, I should say. But they rescheduled Hans on us once, and we had to do it twice, unfortunately. But it should be Hans Kim, January 23rd and 24th.
Awesome. Are tickets on sale?
We're excited about it, man. Breaking news.
Yeah. Are tickets on sale now?
Say again?
Are tickets on sale?
Tickets are on sale now, and everybody should buy them.
Yes.
Because I need some money, man. We've been spending a lot making this place awesome.
He needs the gas to get back.
Yes.
We
are on it. I will definitely get to the wellcomedyclub.com.
Are you going to be the headline? Or not headliner. I'm sorry. Are you going to be the opener?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll
feel like you got
the Young Bucks, you know?
I know, but it's your place. I mean, come on. We got to see you on stage on the first opening show.
You know what? You've been there before. I do a 5-minute warning or a 10-minute warning before the start of the show. It's the best 10-minute warning in the business.
This is true. This is very true.
It's a set. It's a Netflix special.
Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, do we have any other comedians plotted it down for the rest of the month or after that with Hans Kim, or is it just the Hans Kim show right now?
I'm kind of locking everybody up right now. There's a ton of offers out. We're finalizing a bunch. We've got a bunch of accepted offers, and we're just moving them around on the calendar. And I'm not really filling the calendar a ton yet because I'm waiting to hear back on a couple of whales. So once we get those, we'll kind of plug everything in, and it'll be quick. All of a sudden, you'll just see kind of an explosion on the calendar and the socials and tickets and whatnot, you know?
Well, dude, that's exciting. I mean, we did the same thing with the Wars. You know, we had one date set, and then a couple permits, and then we had to get and then the fireplace has to come down, and we have to do this and that. So I'm pretty damn pumped that the Well Comedy Club is this close on opening. And I mean, going back to some sports, what are you thinking about these Bears?
I think we. I'd love to see them playing a little bit better before the last 2 minutes of the game.
True.
But we got a fourth quarter team. We got a fourth quarter quarterback. Most of my life, we would have lost all 5 of those last minute games.
This is fair.
and we won them all. So it feels a little bit lucky, and I'd like to see a little bit more than luck. You know, Caleb's made some mistakes. I think Ben Johnson's made some mistakes, but we got a good team here, and they're young, and they're young together. I think they're only going to get better.
Caleb showed the magic, though, in this last game, man. There were multiple instances where I thought he was going to get sacked, and he just pulled himself out of it, like Eli in that Super Bowl game. And I think you guys got a guy, man. I genuinely do. I think this is just the beginning of what the Bears can be.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think the culture is clearly changing.
Yes.
Ben's the guy for the job. Caleb's the guy for the job. I was a little apprehensive about letting go of Fields. If it was up to me, I'd have probably at least kept him another year or two and let Caleb come up underneath him, maybe, instead of trying to win the first season. You know, let Fields take the beatings, but no regrets now, no regrets. I look back, it was the right call.
Hey, look, man, he'd be throwing for 60 yards for you if that was the case, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be happy with the way those 5 games ended if he was your starting quarterback now.
I think you're right, man.
So.
And the Bulls are doing great. And I heard when I was listening a little bit ago, I heard a Sergeant Slaughter reference. So that's for your older audiences, I guess.
Look, man, it's wrestling. I could throw in a little bit of old school wrestling here and there. That's probably as deep as I'm going to be able to get in terms of history, though, if I'm being honest with you, because I'm god awful in that area. But
yeah, little Jake the Snake references, maybe.
There you go. I'll throw a couple in there for you. I'll throw a Roddy Piper in there before I get out of here. How about that?
Gosh.
Well, listen, just so you know, that was all the wrestling I've got. I gave it to you.
Hey, man, it's more than some people. I'll tell you that right now.
That was it. It was just enough to wax poetic and make you guys think that I know a little bit about wrestling. I can pick up a guitar and play Smoke on the Water.
There you go.
You know, and people, you play? Play a little, you know?
Well, see, just because you said that now, though, now next time you come in here, you have to bring a guitar and play Smoke on the Water. You realize that, right? Now everybody has to hear you do this.
Say less. I'm doing it.
Gladly bringing it.
3, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9, 8, 3, 6, 8, 6, 3. Those are the chords. Now you know.
Oh man, that's awesome. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, well, you get back on the road, dude.
Yeah,
I don't want to kill you off before the grand opening. And like you said, the grand opening, January 23rd and 24th. Is that right?
January 23rd and 24th, as long as we can finish all of the permits in time, and I'm bribing everybody I can.
Right on. We'll go to the Well Comedy Club. Find them on Instagram and social media, and you'll get all the updates you need. Safe travels, my brother, and go Bulls.
Thanks, man. Love you guys. You guys have a great morning.
Thanks, brother. You too. Real quick, we got a couple minutes before we get to our break and get to the rest of our guests of the day. Chris Orr will be joining us, talk a little Bakersfield Lacrosse. And yes, that is the game that you watched on the American Pie movie, but it is the oldest living game, and it's one of the most fun, too, if you haven't played it before.
Did you bring the stick?
I did not bring the stick with me. I should have. You're right. Actually, I need to put that right there behind me. Chris gave, for full disclosure, Chris Orr came on the JR show yesterday, another show that I produced here on our sister station of Kern Radio. And dropped a little bit of love to us, gave all of us our own little lacrosse sticks and hardball. And you'd be surprised how tough this ball is. Like, you throw that thing at anybody, it's going to hurt. But we'll talk about that with him. Real quick, though, before we get to our break, we got the most updated college football playoff rankings that were released yesterday. I'll run down that real quick. Ohio State and Indiana still number 1 and 2. And still, in my opinion, your final will be Ohio State and Indiana, but that's besides the point. Texas A&M has jumped up number 3. Has stayed at number 3. Georgia jumps up to number 4 as Alabama fell over the weekend. Number 5 now held by Texas Tech. Number 6, Ole Miss. 7, Oregon. 8 is Oklahoma. 9, Notre Dame. 10, Alabama. 11 is Miami of the U. And 12 coming up as the group of 5 will be Tulane if it ended today. Now, obviously, this is going to be adjusted throughout the next couple weeks. Hopefully, we see another massive win this weekend from the Trojans over the Oregon Ducks, and we'll see the Trojans somehow up into this top 12. We will see. But life, has a weird way of coming up just short for me.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. I'll cheer for the Bulldogs, absolutely. But when the thing actually starts, though, I got to go with the Hoosiers. I love Signetti and this Hoosier team. It's fantastic.
Anybody but Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's starting to feel like Alabama. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll talk to our friend Chris Orr. And then on the other side of that, Bakersfield Comic Con is coming up this weekend as well. We'll talk about that and their incredible slate of guests. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Early Bird Special, Hour 2, right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. And it's time to get to our guests of the day. First and foremost is overall good egg and one of the main heads of getting lacrosse going here locally in Bakersfield. He's a friend of the show. He's a fantastic individual, a fantastic human being. Mr. Chris Orr joins us via phone. Sir, how are you?
Good. It's quite an intro. I noticed none of y'all talking about my New York Football Giants.
Well, look, brother, I need Jackson Dart to play first, okay? I get that. That's the only time I feel like you guys are in a prime spot to win is when Jackson Dart's playing quarterback for you. When you got
Sam Scatabo to get healthy again.
Right. Well, Cam's too busy beating up on WWE wrestlers at Raw. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and Malik, and I mean, there's a long list of some studs that the Giants are. I mean, they're building a team.
You guys are in good shape, though. I genuinely believe next 2-3 years, you guys are going to be fighting the Eagles for that top spot.
The GM has got to go.
Yeah.
I'm the most hopeful I've been in many years since Eli. So
absolutely. But we are here to talk lacrosse, my friend. I mean, obviously, you got to talk to JR about this a little bit yesterday. Our listeners haven't heard the same spiel, though. So tell everybody, what is Bakersfield Lacrosse? How can they get involved?
Well, basically, Bakersfield Lacrosse, we've been around for over a decade now. It started off pretty informally. Another gentleman, one of the Andrew Zaninovich, one of the many Zaninovich farmers in town, he also played in college, and we kind of founded this together. We have many wonderful volunteers who generally have all been parents who have gotten involved. In fact, I had been the head coach. We have 2 high school men's club teams. For the boys, high school levels, we're not CIF yet. But one of my volunteers, his son was a player, and he started learning the game, and actually he'll be taking over head coaching responsibilities this year. So anybody who you don't have to have any experience with lacrosse to come out and be a part of our program and help develop in Bakersfield. So that's, and we don't exist without volunteers, but basically how we have it set up, we do have the 2 functioning high school club teams. One practices out of Garcis's field space. The other one practices out of Liberty Park. And as I say, you don't have to belong. If you choose to play for the Garcis club team, you don't have to go to Garcis. We have kids over there who are from like Highland and I think Foothill and various places. Yep. And the what we call the Mustangs club team, that's at Liberty Park. I have kids from Liberty, Centennial, Independence, Frontier,
nice. So
go ahead.
Real quick, sorry not to break it, but something popped in my mind and you were bringing it up. One, how does the team become part of the CIF? I know you mentioned that it's not part of it yet, and for those people who don't know what the CIF is the high school affiliate for sports. So usually you see your high school football teams all being under the CIF umbrella. How do you guys become part of it?
So it has to go through the Kern High School Athletics District. Stan Green, who's head of that. I don't know if it's his ultimate decision or if they have a board that votes it in. I mean, I think recently now, water polo got adopted in the past few years, women's wrestling. So it's got to get on the docket and get accepted. What's interesting, and you heard this part yesterday, is Garcis actually has our women's program. Garcis has a women's CIF lacrosse team. But they have to go to Fresno to play, so they got to drive up to the Fresno area twice a week when it's season, which is fantastic in and of itself. So we need to have it here.
Right? No, I agree with you 100%. And Chris, it's funny you bring that up because I was part of the first class at Garcis that brought water polo to the school.
Very good.
We were the ones who created my good friend Stephen Bowman was the one who drew it up. He played water polo his whole life. He was a goalie, and he wanted to bring it to Garcis, and it took so long for them really to start accepting it. And you're right. Like, when schools create these teams that no one else have, they have to go out of town to really play each other. But I think lacrosse is one of those games that you could really bring to Bakersfield, and people will embrace it. It's very, there's physicality to it a little bit. It's not as bad as football, but it's still really exciting to watch. And yes, majority of people my age only know it thanks to the American Pie movies. But realistically speaking, it is one of the longest running sports, and it is one of the most exciting to watch on television if you could ever get a chance to. I mean, and colleges look for ridiculous amounts of scholarships on this team, or in the lacrosse area, I should say.
Yeah, they do, and it's not. And I tell people, don't play the game because you're gonna expect the full ride to school,
right?
But yeah, the ratio, I think the last time I checked, I think it's like 1 in 350 kids gets a football scholarship. Right. And it's like 1 or 7 or 8 gets offers in some way, shape, or form for lacrosse.
Right. And I mean, I know a lot of people look at it as just, it's another sport that they aren't really aware of, but the opportunities are there. So it's weird to me that the CIF hasn't really embraced this yet. How long have you guys been trying to knock on that door to become CIF eligible?
Literally a decade.
Wow.
Literally a decade.
Is it just the amount of people? Like, are they so afraid that maybe they aren't going to get the players?
I don't know. I mean, sure, that's part of it. That was one of the discussions is, when you get to certain numbers in your program, because just to go over that, our program, we run from basically starting second grade. So we usually have second through fourth graders put together for, basic skills development. Then, and that's usually what we call soft stick. So they're not wearing full gear. They're using the softer ball, eye protection, and generally try to have them wear the gloves too. But it's all skill building and gets a little competitive. Then we generally have our 5 and 6 and 7, 8 grades put together. Sometimes depending on their numbers, they all have practice together. And then we have our basically 9th through 12th at the high school level on the boys. And then our women's program, which has been harder to get numbers and develop, we have a broader range of women's playing together. But with the advent of the Garces team, if we have girls in town who want to play lacrosse, that is an option to look at, getting and going to Garces as a for sure way to play at the CAF level. So that's how the structure is set up.
Right.
As far as the program, and I just want to note for those, one of the reasons we're doing this is we do free introductory clinics, usually in the fall and winter before the regular season starts. We have one this Saturday from 10:30 to 12. It will be held at Polo Park. I think, we've got some rain projected for tomorrow, but it should be dry Friday and Saturday. So I think the fields will be open. But people can go to our website, which is BakersfieldYouthLacrosse.com, or if you Google Bakersfield Lacrosse, we're the only thing that's going to come up because we're it. And you can actually, if you can, we ask you pre-register. So we just have, numbers so we know how many, extra sticks and things to bring out. But you can also just show up. And we'd happily have you there. So
obviously you want RSVPs though, so you know how much stuff to bring with you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we go have a storage. We have a storage unit. We got to haul the gear back and forth because I can't carry all that stuff in my car.
Right. Absolutely not.
At one time. But yeah, it is. And you're talking about the Central Valley is by far lagging behind. I mean, I grew up on Long Island, New York. That's why I partly play lacrosse. I've been playing the game since 1980, and high school, a couple years of college, and it's just such a fast and, like I said, fast, fun game. It's kind of like hockey in that aspect, theater soccer. I loved baseball. I was a baseball player up until age 13. Quite honestly, I just got tired of standing in the outfield waiting for stuff to happen, and my cousin put a lacrosse stick in my hand, and I never looked back. I mean,
that's
literally
awesome.
never looked back.
Well, and talk about that a little bit, because I know you mentioned it yesterday with JR, and I don't mean to keep bringing that up, but it's interesting to me that lacrosse is one of those sports that you could really play in between your major sports or whatever you need. Like, you're a baseball player, obviously. I feel like lacrosse would be a great off-season sport for you to pick up because of just the movement, keeping yourself in shape. But on top of that, the way you have to play with the stick, how you have to throw the ball, it's very similar, right? So, I mean, talk about that and how your players kind of play multiple sports at the same time as dealing with playing with you guys in lacrosse.
Yeah, totally. And just for people who don't know, you have NFL starters right now who were lacrosse players in college. Right. Chris Hogan from the Patriots was a 4-year lacrosse player on scholarship. Didn't play lacrosse, didn't play football till after he graduated and went and he saw eligibility. And any of them will tell you it enhances your field awareness, your endurance. It just absolutely will help you with any other sport. And what's nice about our program currently for the club high school teams, because we practice later at night, we generally start our practice for the high school teams. We practice Tuesdays through Thursdays over at Liberty Park. Mm-hmm. And we start practice at 5:30 night. I have kids that are walking over from Liberty, getting out of like wrestling or when it's into the season track. I have players who were competitive swimmers. We've had a couple try and do baseball at the same time, and then a ton of football players, coming out in the off season. And it's a great combo. It really is. It complements everything.
I agree. And then talk to the parents right now of these young kids who are looking for a sport for their kid to play. I mean, I think a lot of the time right now in today's day, it's all centered around safety. Yeah. How is lacrosse safer than sports like football and hockey? Because there is a little bit of physicality, but there's not as much. But talk to those parents and let them know, what this game is and how it is a little bit of a safer option than some of these other sports.
So as with anything, it is contact. There's always risk. I mean, we get the normal sprains and strains. Right. As far as just with the women's game currently, the women's game is basically, it's a non-contact, even though, soccer is supposed to be non-contact, but the women's game is basically non-contact. So checking and that sort of thing doesn't exist in that. So that's generally not an issue, just normal musculoskeletal stuff. With lacrosse, unlike football, and I was a dual player. I played football and lacrosse. You're not directly going out and hitting and tackling. Yes. Checking at times can be involved in the game and it can be useful, but anybody who knows lacrosse knows that, skill set, ball handling, passing, catching, shooting, those are the primary functions. And that's what gets it done. Being able to go out and quote unquote level somebody doesn't win you a lacrosse game. So it's definitely not as prevalent.
So, and then you dropped a little tidbit yesterday I thought was interesting. You had brought up Damar Hamlin and the injury that he dealt with the Buffalo Bills and how scary that was. You guys have a pad that directly, protects the people or the kids from that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's called the commota cordis pad, and actually, I think the NFL actually has adopted.
Have they? Well, I hope so.
I believe so. After that incident, so it's a specialized hard plastic pad that literally covers the mid-chest plate. So if for some reason, someone did get hit with the ball in that area, it does not potentially induce that condition, which happened to Damar Hamlin. So,
and those hard balls are not something to play around with, man. I mean, you kept telling me yesterday, don't break a window. I'm pretty sure one's going to get broken here in the next week, but I'll let you know. But
right. Well, I'm not responsible.
No, you are not responsible for that. That is all me. I am a fully grown person. I can take responsibility for that myself. Yeah. But I mean, outside of that, my friend, I mean, I think you do an amazing job with this entire thing. I really do. And I hope that you guys can figure this out with the CIF. I know you called out to Stan Green earlier, and I'm going to do the same thing. We got to get this sport going, man. It is one of the most popular sports around the country. And for some reason, we've never adopted it here. And it always baffled me. Even when I was in high school, I was thinking maybe we should do the same thing we did with water polo for lacrosse. I didn't know if there was anybody that was actually about as interested in it as I, but now that I see you and this group doing this for the last decade, man, I am going to do everything I can to help you guys out and get this thing pumped up.
We appreciate it. And it's like, I mean, Northern California, Southern California, it's rampant. San Diego has a professional indoor team.
Yep.
The Olympics, lacrosse is premiering in the Olympics on what we call a 6-on-6 format, which, we're actually looking at using that format with our younger grades.
Nice.
Just kind of speed it up. We're hoping to have a clinic out in Tehachapi. We're talking to them, trying to talk to Taft and Shafter. And just come, for anybody, just come check it out. And, like I said, it's a lot of fun. No cost to try this coming weekend. We'll have a few other clinics. We're also going to be doing a demo at the Condors game on January 3rd, first period intermission. So,
oh, fantastic. We're going to be talking to Ryan Holt, I believe, tomorrow. So we'll bring that up with him and see what he has to say about it as well. And then one more time, I know it's at Polo Park this weekend. What are the days and times and how people can get in contact with you?
So either Google Lacrosse Bakersfield, you'll find our website, or BakersfieldYouthLacrosse.com, 10:30 to 12 this Saturday, weather permitting, which should be fine. And just come out and try something new. And I think I told you guys yesterday, we had one of our players who had no sport, and he wanted to go to Air Force Academy. He found us 3 years ago, picked up the game amazingly, and we found out this week, as long as his physical goes good, he will be admitted to the fall 2026 class of the United States Air Force Academy.
Nice.
Playing lacrosse.
That's awesome. I mean, I was going to ask that, but I mean, I know you mentioned it earlier. You don't play for the scholarship, you pay for the love of the game. And I agree with that 100%. But that is awesome, man. Again, I appreciate your time. We will help you pump this up. And anytime you have any more events or any games coming up, let us know. We'd love to have you back on.
Thank you so much. And you guys are doing a great job with your show.
Appreciate it, brother. I really appreciate that. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right.
Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we'll get into some of this sports news that we didn't get into yesterday. Plus, we got Bakersfield Comic Con coming up here after the break as well. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. This is an AI song.
Of course it is.
Oh God. Now I have to wait. I need to hear what it is.
Bro, one
Really?
week away from Stranger Things.
We are 1 week away.
And Twisted Metal just signed on for another season, which
Thank
I was pumped
God.
because I'm just finishing up season 2.
I was worried too when I read that they didn't have a season 3 signed down and season 2 ended the way it did. And I said, no, we're not ending it like this.
2 episodes away.
They're hitting the black era of everything. And I'm like, yes. And I don't mean that as, what it sounds. It's, if you play the Twisted Metal games, it's a game called Twisted Metal Black, and it is probably the best one out of all of them. And they're starting to hit the storylines to it, and it's really cool.
I just got to the lightning round.
Ooh, that's a good episode. That's a very good episode. Real quick, we got a couple breaking news stories coming out of Bleacher Report and ESPN. Starting with Bleacher Report is reporting that Shedeur Sanders has officially been named the starter for this weekend against the Raiders, which means Stefanski had no choice whatsoever and said, fine, we'll put the kid in. And I'm telling you, just like I told you guys the other day, he's officially signed he's signed away his job.
Yeah, bye.
Because if Shedeur does well, now you look bad because you're stupid. But if Shedeur does awful, and now everybody knows you never put him in practice,
it's on you.
Now you look bad because you're a bad coach. So 2-time coach of the year means nothing anymore in this situation. The other one as well, out of the Falcons camp, Michael Penix undergoing season-ending knee surgery on a partial tear on an ACL. We talked about this as well. We kind of saw this coming. Unfortunately for myself and the rest of Falcons fandom, the season's over. It is what it is. And now we get to watch Kirk Cousins.
Ugh. There's the silence for you.
Ugh. Anyways, let's get into some other stuff before we get to our next guest of the day. Talk Bakersfield Comic Con, because they have an incredible slate of guests coming, including Chavo Guerrero has been announced, and a lot of Grease are actors. So if you are a fan of the Grease movie, you want to go check this out, because they do have a good amount of the cast. Not John Travolta, calm down. Although that would be really cool if John just showed up. It's not like it's that far away from LA, just throwing that out there. But let's get to some wrestling news real quick here. I didn't get a chance to play this with our guy 24KG. I'll get his thoughts on it next week when he's with me. But Karrion Kross had a very interesting promo with an Instagram reporter who I am drawing a blank on his name right now, but he's fantastic. He's a heavier set African-American guy with glasses. Great reporter, and he does fantastic work on Instagram. But Karrion dropped a little tidbit in here that I thought was interesting. I want to hear Sparky's thoughts on this as well. So let's hear from the great Killer Kross.
Do you know what would be really crazy? Everybody thought this was one big work. Imagine something. Just hear me out. Imagine something. Imagine for once in my life, I told the lie. You know, I was always going after the liars. We all know Sami Zayn was a liar. But imagine for once, I just wanted to know what it would feel like. So you would know what it feels like to tell a lie. Imagine, if you will, Hunter sent me out here to the Indies. Hunter. To do some damage, to scout.
But not media people, right? Because I didn't sign a waiver.
Oh.
I didn't sign one, so like if I get hurt, I would
think about it. Maybe it is all one big work. Or hey. What if in January, when I tried to renegotiate my contract, what if I knew the writing was on the wall, so I decided to expose the whole system? Think about where we're at right now. Where are the ratings? Where are the fans going? What are they saying? Didn't I call this out?
Yes.
Maybe I had no intention to stay in a place that doesn't actually respect pro wrestling.
Yeah, they don't.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about the future. Or, hey, maybe this is all just another promo.
Karrion Kross recently has come out along with his wife Scarlett and said that they actually make more money on the indies right now than they did with the WWE. So is this a work? Is this Karrion just lying to us again? Or did Karrion just tell us all the truth that he lied from the beginning, never intended to re-sign with the WWE, and saw the writing on the wall that, hey, maybe this isn't the company that actually respects pro wrestling anymore? What are your thoughts?
I did hear him say Heyman.
A
couple different times. I was just saying. I mean, we've kind of saw that on the wall. I mean, I don't know. That's the best part of wrestling,
Right.
is
I
you don't is it a work?
What
Is it
part of
not?
this promo was real? Did Hunter send him out to the Indies to scout? Did he walk away because he didn't think the WWE was respecting pro wrestling? Did he walk away because he knew the trajectory in which the company was going was going to take them downwards in a way? God only knows. Or did he really just know that, hey, we can make a ton more money doing this stuff on the indies and I could just continue stirring the pot and the WWE will never hear the end of it because their fans are still going to be wondering why you let me go?
Yeah, I mean, he knows the business. He knows he can put any spin to anything,
Yes.
and stir the pot. So I think it's probably a little of both. I think Triple H probably sent him out and saying, "Hey, we'll kind of give you some space, give you some time to work out on your fandom
Yep.
and your character, and we're always going to have a spot for you."
That's
So I think he'll be back sooner or later, but I'm not sure if it was a full 100%, a work.
And if he does come back, it would be unprecedented because in professional wrestling, there's always the chance you can go back to a company that is fair, but going back twice is very rare. When you get brought back to a company the second time, usually that's your last ride with that company. And I feel like that's kind of the way with most jobs. You can get fired from a job and rehired, but how likely are you to get fired and rehired from the same job 2 to 3 times? Very unlikely. So God only knows what this truly was. I think Carrion's doing a fantastic job at keeping everybody just on their toes of wondering why this all happened at a Hall of Glory show where a whole bunch of different wrestlers were at. So that's why it's just one of those like meet and greet situations. And he just decided to cut a promo with this kid. And honestly, I don't know which way is true. And that's the beauty of Karrion Kross is I don't think we'll ever know. I do hope that you're right, though. I hope one day we will see him back in the WWE or at least on one of these major shows so we can see him really reach the heights that I've always kind of hoped and prayed he would. Let's take a break real quick. We'll talk about some other wrestlers, including Chavo Guerrero will be in town this weekend, plus a ton of other people at Bakersfield Comic Con. Go check it out. It'll be at the Kern County Fairgrounds, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll have our guy in here to talk about that and much, much more. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We're also streaming live every single weekday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Go follow us. We're just about at 100 subscribers on YouTube, Sparky.
Yay!
I know. Slowly but surely. We're getting there. Bakersfield Comic Con, though, is this weekend. We are very, very excited. And to talk about that is our guy, Steve Wyatt. He is one of you run the whole dang shebang, don't you?
Yeah, I started it 16 years ago.
Fantastic.
Got plenty of my
17 years
money
ago.
then.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was telling him over the phone because he was telling me because you do Mouse Con, you do obviously the Bakersfield Comic Con and the anime convention as
Big
well.
anime, yeah. Or Bach anime.
Bach
is the
anime,
thing.
yeah. I go to each and every one of them, and
So you've
trust
got
me, you
plenty of my
and
money.
all of those stores walk away with plenty of our cash. So,
Cool.
but thank you so much for coming in today. We're
Well,
very
thank you for
excited for this
supporting.
weekend. I know I just teased it for everybody that was listening, but you have a long list of guests that are coming in. We are a wrestling show to a point. So Chavo Guerrero was a cool one to see that you have coming in, but you also have a good amount of the people from Greece and Chips coming in, right?
Yes.
Ponch will be there.
Ponch will
he's
be there.
He's here
Ponch
all the
and
dang
John.
time, man. He loves being here.
Yeah.
That guy. I mean, the tips for chips and stuff like that. He's always there.
He
for
does
that.
a lot of charity stuff.
He really does. But like, talk about that and how you guys get these guys to really come in and join the conventions.
How I get them? That's a funny one. I've just been doing this for 51 years. So
Really? Okay.
I mean, this has been my life. The Greece people, a friend of mine, she represents most of them.
Mhm.
And she put up a post on before last year's show.
Mhm.
Hey, we're booked out for 2025. If anyone's interested. So I gave her a call. Hey, Patty, what if we brought him up to Bakersfield?
Right.
So last year, when you left the show, we had a banner going, next year, save the date, with the pictures of all the Greece people.
Oh, very cool.
So we had that one planned a year in advance. She just, we talked for a minute and she said, here's what they want. And I went, okay, done. Because we're friends. Same with the Chips people. I've met Eric multiple times and John Larry once or twice. And then we also have a third person, Lou Wagner. And you're going, who's he? He was the mechanic at the. I met him about 2 months ago. And he saw that we were doing that, and he's like, can I come? And I'm like,
do you mind?
Okay.
That's awesome.
He was also in Lost in Space, my favorite episode of Lost in Space, because I'm that old.
On.
He was in an episode of Star Trek. He was also a Ferengi in Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Right.
So he's actually done a lot. But I just when I met, I saw Ponch at a show, Ponch and John. And turns out another friend of mine who I've known for many, many years, she used to be an editor at Marvel Comics, and she's their agent. So I walked them and Renee's like, we were talking and she's like, yeah, do you want them? And I went, yeah. So we booked them almost a year ago too. So
all of this is really a year in advance sometimes for you.
Oh, yeah. Some of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I've always been curious. Like I said, I've gone to multiple of your conventions and you always pull in some of the most interesting people because personally, I love like a couple years ago, I'm very thankful for you because I got to meet one of my heroes, which is Johnny Young Bosch.
Oh, yeah.
Love that guy. Grew up watching him as a Power Ranger. And then obviously, if you watch anime or anything, you've heard his voice a million times over because he's in everything.
That he's done like 200 voices.
He really has. And most of them are main characters now. But like you're able to pull in all these interesting faces that not a lot of people, I mean, some people are like, oh, that's not an A-lister, but but they still made your childhood.
Oh,
dude.
Absolutely. And can I get an A-lister? Do you want, Daryl from Walking Dead? I can get him with one phone call. But we're in Bakersfield and I love Bakersfield. I live here. I've lived here for 20 years. He's $150 autograph and $150,000 guarantee. That means 1,000 people would have to buy his autograph for us to not lose money.
Right.
Can that happen in Bakersfield? No. Otherwise, people ask for people like that all the time. I can get Chris Evans with a phone call.
Oh yeah.
But Chris Evans is $250 an autograph, and he is a $300,000 guarantee. Oof. So we can't bring him here. So we try to have fun with it instead.
Absolutely.
So that's why the Grease people, because I'm 61 years old. I was in high school. I saw Grease in the theaters. I watched Chips on TV. And then Dinah Manhoff, who played Marty on Grease. I also grew up watching Christy McNichol, and we have Christy McNichol coming. And they were on the show Empty Nest together, but she was also in Little Darlings. She was like the big
she was
star.
everywhere.
Yeah, she was everywhere in the 70s and early 80s. So since we have Dinah coming, it's like, well, let's do a side Empty Nest reunion because they were sisters in Empty Nest. So that's how we got her.
That's
Same
awesome.
agent, and I've met her many times. She's super sweet.
Right.
So you've been doing this since you were 10 years old?
At this point, I mean,
basically, I started working for a guy when I was 10, selling comic books, and I worked for him till I was 19 years old. I started selling at conventions when I was 12 or 11, working for him, 12 on my own, and then in 79, I had a table at Bacon in San Francisco, but the morning of the show, and I spent a whole $35 on that table. And back in 79, that's a lot of money. My mom got called into work. So, and I knew most of the Bay Area, because I grew up in the Bay Area, most of the Bay Area comic artists. So since I couldn't go to that show, I just put on my own on my side of the Bay.
Right.
You know, I was from Castro Valley, so in Hayward. And that's how I started putting on shows because I wanted to sell at a show.
So you started your own convention at what age?
I was in 9th grade.
Wow. Okay.
Because I wanted to sell comic books.
Right. That's awesome, though. I mean, thinking about that, it's a freshman in high school.
Yeah,
just the thought of that is that's incredible. And obviously, you've been going at this ever since.
Yeah. That show ran as Baycon or as SuperCon and then Hayward Con. And then they tore down the facility. So it took us 4 years to find a new one. Now it's East Bay Comic Con. So it's still running to this day.
Oh, that's
up
awesome.
in Concord.
Do you get any residual from that? Just out of curiosity.
I own the shows. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that answers that question. Well, since you're here, that's why I was curious. I didn't know if you still actually ran it or anything. That's
I run
really
all
cool.
the shows. I'm actually in the process of selling them.
Are you? Okay.
I'll still be the face of the show. I'll still be there, and I'll still get the guests because I know everybody.
Right. It's all about the relationships.
Don't want to do the work because I've been doing this for 50 years.
Right. Everybody deserves to retire eventually, man. And that's awesome. I mean, just your story is really interesting. Just the thought of a freshman going and saying, you know what, I'm going to make my own Comic Con.
Well, because I couldn't go to the other ones.
Right.
So I wanted to.
And you built it from the ground up. I mean, that's awesome. That's an incredible story.
Yeah. I never wanted to put on conventions. I just got good at it. I never wanted to sell comic books. I just got good at it. All I ever wanted to do was actually draw comic books, which I have self-published 8 books. I've been published in Image, Dark Horse.
Really?
One little piece in a DC book, Viz. But
can you shout out where they can find those? Because I'm a huge Dark Horse fan, so I'd love to dive into that.
Well, I did Misfortune. I wanted to ink comics.
Oh, okay.
That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And this was 20 years ago. So I did it on my own, and then I've self-published 8 books and sold out all of them. So
that's incredible.
I used to set up at First Friday when it was in the heyday of First Friday. And sell my but they're all gone. So
you can't find those anymore anywhere. No. Oh, that's so cool though, because I mean that's gonna when someone inevitably comes around and comes to find you for that signature or something like that, that's got to be surreal.
Yeah, it is. It's like we did a book. Do you know who Stan Sakai is?
The name sounds familiar.
Usagi Yojimbo, and his wife was having some problems. His late wife. So a bunch of us artists did a big auction to help him out. And then we put together, we called Dark Horse Comics. And Dark Horse, since they're the publishers of Usagi, they did a book called the Stan Sakai Project, since it happened to be the 20th anniversary of the book. So I did a great piece in that one that I'm very proud of. It was my favorite John Buscema Avengers cover, but turned into Usagi.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah. So we did that for Dark Horse and for them. But I still get people that walk up with that one. And then we used to put on a show called Big Wow up in the Bay Area. It was like one of the best art conventions. It was, a good 10,000 person show. But it was very art centric.
Mhm.
And we did books for that, a Vampirella book and stuff. And I still get people coming up asking me to sign those.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so as somebody who wanted to be a comic artist, I read comics my entire life, and you can always tell who's obviously illustrating them based on how they look.
Right.
What are your thoughts on how the comics are looking now? I mean, I think a lot of people, obviously, that people aren't buying them as frequently, but I see more people online give criticism of how a lot of these guys are looking or how they're really depicting a lot of these heroes these days, especially during the New 52 run for the DC era. Like, a lot of people were not happy with, the Teen Titans. Let's go with that. Because, I mean, Starfire looked like she was 30 years old and was ridiculously risque.
Right.
So, like, what are your thoughts on that and kind of the trajectory in which comics are headed?
Well, the trajectory of comics are always going to be around.
Right.
People have been saying for 25 years they'll be dead in a year, but they're here.
Yeah.
Too many people love them. And then I thank Marvel Comics universe for helping bring a lot of it back with the movies. And then DC, they haven't done quite as well, but they've been doing solid, bringing in the DC stuff.
I've always said DC excels in their comic stories and their illustrated movies, but the live action ones fall short, where Marvel does great at live action, whereas their illustrated movies don't do very well. And then sometimes the comics have pretty good storylines.
Yeah, that's probably pretty solid to say it just
Honestly.
like that. Yeah.
It's you could tell where the money's being thrown in both companies.
Right, exactly. Well, with DC, one of the reasons their stories are so better is because of who's at the helm. I mean, Jim Lee really is. I know
Geoff
Jim
Johns
personally, and Jim's a good guy, and he really cares about what comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Okay, real quick, I know we're wrapping up on time here. Do we have a caller as well?
No, he was just asking how much are the tickets?
Yes, that let's get into that before I get into my nerd spiel, because trust me, I'll go down for 15 minutes. First off, where is Comic Con this year? How much are tickets? How can people get them?
Comic Con's always at the fairgrounds. It's set in stone the weekend before Thanksgiving, so you can always mark when 2028 is going to be.
Fantastic.
Tickets are only $12 in advance, $15 at the door.
Can you do the whole weekend like you usually do?
Yeah,
for
you can do
Con?
a weekend for $20.
Can't be.
I'm going to spill something right now. I'm making the announcement Thursday. Times are tough right now for people.
Understandable.
Really, really tough. And we needed to raise the price because our prices are going up.
Yeah.
And that's why we used to be 10 in advance and 12 at the door.
Right.
So now we're 12 in advance or 15. But
door.
We're going to make an announcement that we're going to stick to $12 at the door.
Fantastic.
I know it's only $3, but for a family of 5, that's their lunch.
That adds up a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you can buy tickets at the door. Tickets are unlimited at the fairgrounds. It's from 10 to 5, both Saturday and Sunday. All our guests are going to be there pretty much both days. Chavo is only going to be there Saturday if you are a wrestling fan. So since you mentioned Chavo, he's Saturday only. Thunder Rosa also is coming.
Oh, I did see her on the ledger.
But she's leaving at 3:00 on Sunday. So she'll be Saturday and Sunday, but
if I'm back from Vegas by then, I'm going to sneak over just to see her because I love her on Busted Open. She's so great. I mean, she does a fantastic job as a wrestler as well, but as an analyst, she's brilliant. So she's fantastic. And then who are the rest of the people that are going to be coming?
Amonic. Is that Amonic's on there?
Amonic is the artist.
Yeah.
Yes. Amonic's coming.
Gosh.
He's actually a close friend. He was a last minute, hey, Steve, got a table for me? And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love his art. We got Stuart Sager. He's a comic artist who is very famous for like G.I. Joe and stuff. And he did a Vampirella cover for us. We're going to have an exclusive limited to 300 copies or 400 copies. Vampirella number 6 with a beautiful painted. It's done exclusively for Bakersfield Comic Con.
That's
awesome. Says on the
awesome.
back, exclusive Bakersfield Comic Con.
Very cool.
And it's only cover price. Most people who sell exclusives want $20, $30, $40. We're going for $5.
Oh,
so we're not doing it to make money. We're doing it to have something fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then you could go in and have the cover signed by Stuart. He's there. Pepe Moreno is another comic artist we've got coming. He did the first digital comic book ever 35 years ago. And it was a Batman book. It's called Digital Justice. It was the first computer comic book. And he's doing a panel on AI, what you need to know
Okay.
For in the world of comic books.
Has that been used a lot in the world of comics
Oh
yet?
no,
I didn't think so.
I
mean, I
the
realize
AI
it
you
can.
think of, but this is AI. Our cell phones
Everything.
are AI. Everything's AI.
That's a good point.
So he'll be talking about basic computer comics. Joel Adams, who did all the design work for King of the Hill.
Oh, nice.
He's coming up, and
Oh,
he's
no
even going to
kidding.
have a special King of the Hill print you can buy from him with Bakersfield Comic Con on it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we've got our guests, like I said, the Grease cast.
Yes.
We've got 4 members of Grease, including Lorenzo Lamas
Mhm.
from Renegade, and the director is coming too.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
4 members plus the director. It was 5, but one of them got a job.
And I'm assuming they're doing a panel together
Yeah,
as well?
they're doing a panel on Tuesday, or on at 2:00 on Saturday, and then at 2:00 on Sunday
Very cool.
is the Chips panel.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Nice.
So any questions you have on either the movie or the Chip show would be greatly appreciated at this panel. And you don't have to pay to go to the panels either.
Oh no,
right?
not. I mean, you just once you pay to get in, you walk in the door, you get the exhibitor hall on the left. You have all the vendors. You have gaming. You have artist alley, all the guests and panel room on the right.
Mhm.
And then there's like tons of vendors in the middle. We have like a mini Renaissance fair. We have fighters in the back, and then this time we have cruising oldies coming since we have Grease, and they're bringing about 15 vintage cars.
Nice.
Just for people to come up, see, take pictures.
So it's a
with.
car show at the same
And they're
time.
a local family group. You know, they do a lot of charity stuff here in town, so they're coming. But it's going to be a good time for everybody.
I'm a long time collector, so I always get caught up in the vendors, and my wife's like, "No, okay, you can get that. Okay, no."
After your weekend, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a hell no this week.
I got a speeding ticket over the weekend, so hopefully she is listening and she knows I'm sorry. But I also saw James C. Mulligan is also on
Jimmy
that
Mulligan
list.
is coming. I contacted him about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, he's going to be in town. He's a Disney artist.
Mhm.
He's famous for doing pieces in the Disney galleries, all over the world.
You can see it all over the place in Disneyland.
Yeah, and he's now doing some of the like magic cards. Disney has their
Lorcana.
Lorcana. So
yeah.
he's now doing Lorcana cards.
Those are getting very popular.
Oh yeah, he's done White Rabbit. And I mean, he's done a bunch of them
Mhm.
for Lorcana. And he'll have a DuckTales comic that he did an exclusive, his own, limited to like 300 copies. A beautiful Uncle Scrooge cover.
That's awesome.
And he'll have that for sale at the show too. I'm looking forward to getting one myself.
Yeah, I love that show. So wait, are we talking old school DuckTales though? Or are we talking about the new one that they just released?
Oh no, old school.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's old.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the new one's funny, but I just look at it and the art style just throws me off because it's like, no, it doesn't look like a duck to me. I don't know why.
No.
And then I get it, it's a cartoon, but come on, man, you got to at least go back to the source material a little bit here.
I just remember Mulligan from some of those Ninja Turtle stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and he'll have an exclusive Ninja Turtle cover. He's
see you're
Babe.
all the rest of your check's gonna go right out the door,
Yep,
Sparky, this week.
it's
I'm
all
gonna
right.
tell you right now.
I know where it goes.
Exactly. Do we need to take a break or can we go to the bottom of the hour?
Go.
Let's go to the bottom of the hour. I got so many questions to ask you just based on you and like your preferences. So obviously you being in comics and stuff like that and wanting to do this. Let's start with this. What inspired you to want to become an artist?
I always just like to draw.
Really?
As far as I can remember, I was drawing, tanks and little stuff when I was 5-6 years old.
Was there a superhero you really wanted to draw?
Yes. I wanted to draw Thor, or I wanted to ink. See, I always wanted to be
I'm sorry,
inker.
ink, because there's a difference.
I always wanted to ink John Buscema as my favorite comic book artist.
Mhm.
Hands down. He created the Vision.
Mhm.
He was did Conan for almost 100 issues. He's did the Avengers. The best run of the Avengers is his in the late 60s.
Mhm.
And I had dinner with him once, and it was right before he passed away. And I was telling him all I ever wanted to do as an artist was ink your Thor. And he smiled and said, that'll never happen, because he was retired at this point. But the next day he brought me this great piece and just slapped it on the table and just said, here, you can ink my Thor, and walked away.
Oh, that's
and I told his
awesome.
brother, Sal Buscema, who's a very famous comic artist,
Mhm.
about that. And he's like, yep, that's my brother. You know, it wasn't about thank yous or something. It's just here. Now you can do it. I've never inked it. I've lightboarded it a few times, but I couldn't actually touch a brush to it. No.
But was there a moment you were actually going to sit down and do it though before he passed, or was it just?
Oh no, he passed literally a month and a half later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he had a stomach issue, or ended up having like a problem in his chest. Ended up he had cancer and he didn't know it, and it was quick. So
that's terrible.
But he's my all-time favorite comic artist. Everyone's like Jack Kirby, and it's like I knew Jack. I used to help Jack sell art, but and I knew Jack. I knew Stan, but as a kid, I wasn't a Jack Kirby fan,
right?
Because John Buscema is more. His art's just beautiful,
right?
As an adult, I got the dynamics of Jack, and I love Jack Kirby's art,
right?
Now, but as a little kid, I wasn't a fan.
So, before I ask the second question of this, what was your thoughts on this new adaptation of Fantastic Four? Obviously, that being Jack Kirby and Stan's baby. Personally, I thought it was good.
I loved it.
I thought they did a great job at honoring what they had made and like the entire story of the family. I think they did a fantastic job this time.
When I first saw the Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, I went, really? But no, he pulled it
I
off.
wanted Krasinski still. Yeah. I wanted them to bring him back, but I was cool with it. I think they did a great job together.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I thought it was very well done. So the second question to this, obviously, you knowing Jack and Stan, do you have any stories that you can share with us?
Okay, my best Jack story is so there was a guy named Mike Thibodeau, well, he's still around, who would sell Jack's art for him. So when Jack finally got all his artwork from Marvel, Mike sold it for him. But Mike never left California. So I would do New York and Chicago and Detroit. So he'd always give me the portfolios to go sell. And I never took any money for it. I would just take some artwork as a commission. And I was at Jack's house and I pulled out this page from Captain America 102. And it's like, I wanted this one. And I asked him to sign it. And Roz, his wife, puts his arm around him and said, hey, Jack, I have a better pen in the living room or in the kitchen. Come in here. And I smiled and stopped him. I said, no offense, Roz, but I'd rather have a shaky Jack than a really nice Roz. Roz used to sign stuff for him all the time. Most people didn't know that.
Oh, Lord.
So I have this. So they both laughed and he signed it right there to Steve, Jack Kirby.
Nice.
And I think my favorite Stan Lee's story is there's this artist, Russ Heath, very famous artist, did a lot of the war stuff for DC. He was at Stan's wedding in 1947. That's how long they'd known each other. Well, me and my wife helped take care of him for 20 years. So I took him to Stan's office so they could have lunch. And I'm sitting here and Stan's next to me and Russ is right across the way on the couch. I mean, we're all pretty close, but neither of them can hear. So they're really old men in their 90s. And so Stan would say something to Russ. Russ would be like, what? And I'd have to yell it over to him. Then Russ would say something back to Stan and Stan would be like, what? And I'd have to yell it over to him. And it was like back and forth and back. That was our lunch.
That's awesome. I wish I had more time.
But they had time together. So.
No, absolutely. I wish I had more time to talk to you because I have so many questions just about Stan and Jack and just your life in general because it's so interesting. We do talk entertainment on this show.
Just as a collector, it would be great to just hear some more stories. I personally will be out there. I know our boy Burdick will be out in Vegas, but I'll keep an eye out on some things.
Time at least on Sunday to come down there and see you guys because I go every single year. This year just so happened to be right in the middle of one of my trips, so I can't.
Chavo,
but yeah, that I'm disappointed about. Of course, you guys announced that this week, and I'm like.
Well, we had Demolition coming.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not the one who brought them in. One of our vendors was bringing in Demolition.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they're really good people. But so I advertise them like our guests.
Yes.
To help him out.
Okay. Well,
and they Demolition had to cancel.
It's all going to be at Bakersfield Comic Con over the weekend anyway. Sir, thank you so much for your time. We would love to have you back on anytime you have a convention coming.
I live right here in town.
Awesome. Fantastic. We'll be reaching out very soon. Thank you guys for listening today. We really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 to 9. But until then, we got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.